What is going on, you guys? Welcome to the Farside. My name's Stony, and we got a fun video for you guys today. First of all, if you haven't checked out Cole's video, go check that out. That went up on Monday. It's how to make a boom bap style beat, and there's a guest feature at the very end, which is fire. Shout out to Theory. Thank you for those vocals. We really appreciate it. Today's video is going to be something a little different, a little more fun, turning Renegade into a R&B style song. In order to do this, we first need the audio from the original song. What I did was I went onto this site called youtube.com. Hopefully you've heard of it. I went to a YouTube to MP3 downloader, downloaded the song, dragged it right into the project, and immediately went back to the internet and looked up the key and the tempo. I used TuneBat for this because they always have every song somehow, and it's impressive. So the key of the original song is D flat major. I lowered it down 3 semitones so the beat is in B minor. For the original song, what I did was I cut out all the lows just to get rid of that bass and add my new one. Boosted the mids so you could hear the vocals a little more clearly, and cut out a little bit of the highs just because the drum sounds in there were super harsh. I also added reverb to it, specifically the Space Designer stock Logic plugin with clear short vocals, just to add some ambience, add some openness to the song. From there, I went over to Splice and I looked up pad B major 140 and I found this sound. That's a simple drag and drop. I dragged it in to the DAW and
raised it up an octave every other 8 bars just to add some variation.
And just to keep things interesting. I also EQ'd a lot of the lows out of that just to give space for the bass before I even added it in. And the process I took for the lead is very similar to the one I took for the pad, whereas I went to Splice, looked up lead, put all the information in, filtered it, and picked out a sound that I liked. I also did the same thing for the second 8 bars of the lead. I raised it up an octave just to add some variation and just to be able to control the energy a little bit more. From there, what I did was I added the hi-hats. The hi-hats in this beat are super simple. It's just your typical half-step 8-note. I used the Nick Mira Phantom hi-hat, which is fire. Nick Mira, shout out to you. Thank you for that hi-hat. I've been using it for the past year. Same thing with the snare. This isn't internet money, but this is Iron Music Mogul, and I know what you're thinking. Why are you using Iron Music Mogul's drum sounds? They're not good. That's wrong. A lot of the drum sounds that he uses don't sound good in the beats that he makes because he doesn't mix them or EQ them to sound the way that he wants them to. I actually go to Iron Music Mogul a lot for the drum kits to certain beats, and I pick out the sounds that I think are good and that I can do something with, and I use those. That's how I got a lot of my professional sounding sounds, was by doing that, especially early because they're free and you can download the play pack and figure out how everything is structured. You can learn a lot from that. So definitely go check out his channel, although the end product might not be as good as you might expect it to be. The process and the way that he does it is helpful in certain aspects. So by doing that, I was able to get a kick and a snare from the Congratulations drum kit back in 2017, and those two sounds are probably the two most used sounds in my beats. It's your typical trap snare. That kick, it's so good. The way that I processed it just makes it slap. So for the kick, what I did was I had it follow the 808. I'm gonna get into that a little bit later. Added overdrive to it. I added an EQ to cut out a lot of the crunchy highs, and I added a compressor with a 1/4 ratio on it to add that punchy. The rim shots I used are also from a Nick Mira kit. Shout out to Nick Mira again. I had it follow the same pattern as it did in the song, just so that whenever my rim shots came in, it wasn't clashing with that. I chose a sound that sounded similar to the one in the song. Another thing that I did with those drums, specifically just the hi-hat, open hat, clap, and snare, was that I sent them all to a reverb bus just to kind of give it a similar kind of reverb as the original track, or the original track cuts out and it's just the actual drums. They sounded too dry, too bare to really fit the beat. So now we're at the part where a lot of young producers kind of struggle, which is adding 808 to a sample, especially when you don't have the MIDI and you can't figure out what the tonic of the note is. So the way that I usually try to figure out my 808 patterns is I'll find the scale, which we already know is B major, and I'll add the scale helper, the Logic Pro, which lets you draw things in only in the B major scale. So you can't put things on notes that aren't in scale. And from there, I can just kind of move things around, feel them out, get a general vibe of the way I want it to go. And that's what I did for this 808 pattern right here. To end this beat, chopped up the drums in a way that I really like to do as outros. I'll give you a little bit of the sauce, but I'm not going to let you replicate it completely. So basically all I did was I bounced all the drum tracks in place, which basically turns them from MIDI files, which is the played note, to an audio file. From there, all I did was threw on halftime, changed the settings. That's how I got that deep drum sound. Other than that, you guys, thank you for watching. Go check out the last video we posted on Monday for a fire ass beat and a fire ass feature. More content coming out. Thank you guys for the support. We really appreciate it. And peace.
Renegade, 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 renegade.